Hey there and welcome to Kirti Speaks Out Loud. Today we're diving into a topic that impacts each and every one of us, elections. First of all, it's very important that each one of us cast our vote because every voice matters. Now, as we witness this huge democratic process unfold, it's very important to understand the backbone of our voting system, electronic voting machines or EVMs. So, are they as foolproof as they seem? And what other alternatives do we have? Let's start with the basics. What are EVMs and how do they work? Electronic voting machines are the standard means of conducting elections in India. EVMs were developed by the Electronics Corporation of India and Bharat Electronics in the 1990s and introduced between 1998 and 2001. In 2004, in the general election, EVMs were used in all 543 parliamentary constituencies for the very first time. There are three main components: the control unit, the balloting unit, and the VVPAT, or the voter verifiable paper audit trail. Don't worry, we'll break all of these into simpler terms. The control unit is like the brain of the EVM. It's where all the action happens. This unit is responsible for storing the voting data and controlling the functions of the EVM. Once voting is done, the control unit compiles all the data and tallies the number of votes for each candidate. Now the balloting unit is what you interact with. It has a bunch of buttons or symbols that are representing different candidates or parties. But amidst all this, how do we ensure transparency and accountability? For that, we have the VVPAT. This nifty little addition prints out a paper receipt of your vote right after you cast it. So, why is this important? Well, it acts as a paper trail, allowing voters to verify that their vote was cast correctly. Plus, in case of any disputes or recounts, these paper trails can be used for verification. Now the question is, how do we count so many votes across all EVMs throughout the country? It is done in a very careful process that is overseen by the Election Commission of India. A returning officer is appointed in each area or constituency who is responsible for managing the counting at a central station, starting with postal ballots and then EVM votes. So, can these things be tampered with? It's a hot topic. There have been concerns, no doubt about it. Some people worry about hacking or manipulation. The big worry is that if someone were to mess with the software and hardware of the EVMs, they could potentially change the vote count and rig the elections. Well, but resources say that tampering is only possible with physical access, and the elaborate sealing process of EVMs done by the ECI prevents this from happening. They say the machines are standalone devices, not connected to the internet, and that they have multiple layers of physical and logical security to prevent any kind of tampering. The balloting units and the control units are distributed independently and connected on polling day. If tampered with or replaced, they become incompatible. In India, doubts about the paperless EVMs arose after the 2009 Lok Sabha poll, where BJP suggested that the EVMs were rigged in favor of Congress, who won with a decisive mandate.
Eventually, the people of India know what is good for them and they always make the right choice.
In 2010, BJP ideologue GVL Narasimha Rao penned Democracy at Risk. Can we trust our electronic voting machines? A compelling book with a foreword by L.K. Advani and a message by Chandrababu Naidu, then a key ally. The book exposed vulnerabilities in paperless EVMs, advocating for VVPAT adoption. In 2013, the Supreme Court ordered the phased implementation of VVPAT EVMs based on the book's findings. Now, even with all of these safeguards, there are people, some of us included, who are not convinced and are looking for other alternatives. Some of the ideas that have been floated include: number 1, hybrid systems that combine electronic voting with paper ballots. Number 2, internet voting, which would increase accessibility but would require strong cybersecurity. Number 3, blockchain-based voting systems to enhance transparency. Blockchain is, simply put, a digital book where records are stored securely across many computers. Number 4, biometric voting using fingerprints or iris scans for voter identification. These are all interesting concepts and they all have their pros and cons. But the bottom line is about finding the right balance between security, accessibility, and transparency. Now, time for some quick getaways. Number 1, Be vigilant. Just as we are cautious about the integrity of EVM, it's important to be vigilant about our own personal lives too. Watch out for scams, protect your online accounts, and be aware of what's happening around you. Number 2, embrace technology. Like we're talking about the role of technology in voting, embrace technology to make tasks easier in everyday life, but also be mindful of its limitations and potential risks. Number 3, participate. Just as we're encouraged to vote, participation is key in our personal lives too. Whether it's volunteering in your community, standing up for what you believe in, or simply being present in your relationships, active participation makes a difference. So, there you have it. That's a quick rundown of how EVMs work, the concerns around their security, and some of the alternatives that have been in the air. It's a complex issue for sure, but it's an important one that we all need to be informed about. Now it's your turn. Share your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about the future of voting technology in India? And I'll see you in the comment section. Until then, keep laughing, keep learning, and remember, you've got this.